well, what we are going to be doing today is going to be finishing up this River Rapids ride. So we've got a lot of it pretty much taken care of and obviously blocked off here, but we have to get the queue pretty much finished and some minor little decorations coming in through here. Other than that, it's actually fairly well done, and we will take a POV ride at the end of today's episode. So stay tuned for that, folks. Alright, just need to do some final little prep work here. I just want to get this thing on. And really, like I said, this is pretty much just going to be hiding the as best as we can. It's hiding the little, I guess, thing that the raft rides in. So it hides a lot of the supports and all that, and I think it does make it look just a little bit better from an outside perspective. But then again, that's just me. Now, I know it's not in the ground over here. We will take care of that. So, let's go ahead. Let me take a look at the rocks. Where are my rocks at? Here we go. Sorry, I had to get a drink of the old coffee cup there. Let's sink this down. Just make sure none doesn't stick out in there. And even if it did, I don't think I'd be too concerned about it. I'm just going to border this right along here. There we go. Boom. Alright. So there's that in place. Gotta finish off this little portion. Ooh, we do have to do the exit Q2. Ooh. I don't know how many of y'all saw the... Well, if you're watching this, odds are you're probably seeing the Planet Coaster update stuff, since the update went live for April. But what's also in their future, which finally ride photos will be included. Took them damn long enough, that's for dang certain. But hey, I'm just excited to see that. That's all I'm saying. Alright, let's come over here now to our lovely old queue entrance. And I don't really like how that lines up. It's not as even as I want. There we go. That'll do. Yeah, I do have it on. Sorry, I got to work with angle snap. I know there are a lot of people that don't, and you know what? God bless you, but I just cannot operate that way. Never have, never will. So I'm going to just stick this just barely out above the edges. Now, yeah. Let me just lower this down some. Alright, so it uncovers the concrete there, and I just need to make sure it's actually even. If I had my hands on the right keys, I could do that, but I didn't, so. Alright, we're going to stick this to right there. And then right there. Alright, so let me come in. No, wrong button. Oh my god. Alright, there it is. I just really have to do those. I don't have to do the other two center things. So, boom. Grouped up. Alright, let me just move it over to here to start. And then we're going to come all the way down. Oop, left a little gap. Going to have to fix that. Now this is actually a pretty damn windy queue line. I didn't totally intend it to be all that windy, but I think it sticks to the ground a lot for the most part. So I think we're working well there. You know what I mean? All right, let me spin this bad. Oop, too much. Yeah, it sticks out on that side too. I wonder what angle this really is at. Not bad. Not too shabby on that part. Alright, so I got that going there. And other than that, it's pretty much is stuck to the path or stuck to the ground, so I'm not too worried about that. Let me come off over here and let's do the same thing on this old side. What do y'all say? Now the dance of the dance with the details. There we go. Alright, so we are on there. Boom. Once again, I don't... Yeah, it pretty much does. I don't think that's right at the exact same angle, but it's pretty damn well. Close enough. Alright. Now that I've got that in, what I am going to do, I'm going to use this to go around the outside instead of just the traditional walls. I'm covering up this bottom portion. I'm going to put some other planks and stuff to kind of build up on the edges here, but I just need to get these railings covered and all that fun jazz. So that is going to be priority numero uno, as they say in Colombia, I guess? Guadalajara, maybe? I don't know. I mean, I did take 4 semesters of college Spanish, but... Actually, I had to do a report on Machu Picchu one time. Didn't actually do the report, but I had to do it. How that worked out, don't ask me, folks. And you may be asking yourself, did he pass the class? The answer is yes. A resounding yes. I got a D, but I passed, and that's all that matters. And I'm just going to put that to there. Let me bring it onto this side. And I didn't want to go with like a temple kind of build setup for the path queue. One, that would be a whole hell of a lot, right? In an ideal world, all the scenery would be completely fake, and I just don't think that would look very good. Going with kind of a temple wall setup situation, you know what I mean? I just don't feel like it would be the proper way to do it. Now, that's not saying this is a cheap old theme park here, man. Alright? Because we're definitely not, that I can think of. But I'm just saying, personally, I just think it would be either way too excessive in price to try to make it look like that, instead of just going, although nowadays with the price of wood, God knows how much this would cost. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I know, I gotta go back through and put that on there to cover that up. I do know, so don't worry, I did not forget. It is gonna happen still. Just trying to keep some rhythm, I guess you could say. You know, keep a rhythm going, if you will. And we just lost goddamn connection. Fuck you, bitrate. Why are you doing this? God damn it. Stream was disconnected. Attempting to reconnect. Why? It was going fine. Guys, this is still being recorded, just so you know. Alright? I will say that. We are still being recorded right now. And it still says reconnecting. Now it's Is it good to go now? Oh, yeah, it's back to excellent on the stream. This is ridiculous. I think it shoots up in the bit rate total. Like, if it holds steady, I'll be fine. But as soon as it, like, launches itself up over, I think, 6,000 in the bit rate, it goes all fucking wonky on us. And then I have to pause, and people watching this recording don't know what's actually happening. They just know I got a cheap ass stream going. I wonder if I put the quality at 720p. Let's try that. 720p. That's what I'm rolling with on the video quality of the stream, folks. This is the type of things you get from me when you watch our stream. Which, hey, twitch.tv, Champ & Sons, that's us. So you join us if you're watching the recording. You too can experience our lovely technical issues. Let's see. Hey, thanks for joining the stream. Welcome here. I'm not sure if you can even hear me because this thing has a habit of cutting off my audio when it does this whole restart bullshit. But if you can, welcome to the chat. Welcome to our Planet Coaster series. We're just finishing up our River Rapids queue line for right now. So welcome. How is your lovely Saturday going? Pretty damn early in the morning, but how is it going? Other than that, and it dropped off again. Why? Because it shoots up over 6,000 bit. The bit rate shoots up to over 6,000. That's what happens. That is what is going on right now. And see, it's not even. Oh my god. I don't understand why it does that. Did I set the maximum? Hold on, let me check my stream settings. On my, I use Streamlabs now, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it or what, but let's see. It says 5,900, which is probably one problem there. Oh. It won't let me do. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I gotta lower it to 5,800 because. See, right now it says it's an excellent quality, but it's riding at 6,500. It's just stable at 6,500. Then every now and then it shoots up on me. Oh well. Guys, I'm trying the best. I'm not sure. Let me see. I'm just asking if my audio is going through, guys. If y'all are watching, just let me know. If not, the recording does still record my voice. So, you know. To be fair, though, I never counted on being a Twitch streamer. I just started doing this for the fun of it. It was a different platform. But it's starting to piss me off a little bit. As you can freaking imagine, man. Okay, thank you, Cheese Man. Sometimes this thing cuts out. I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing? I'm navigating my technical issues. Oh my god. Yeah, let's just move that over. I don't need it to be perfect. Yeah. Trust me, I know that feeling, man. I've been one of those who was fortunate enough to do work from home stuff while it lasted, but I'm going back into the office on good old Monday. Downside is, I normally worked on my crap. Browser recorded. What in the hell? I just got a browser error? Oh my god. I guess I probably shouldn't have gone with the cheapest stuff in the world when I bought this thing. But it's always worked till now. Like, I've done live streams before. It's been in the last couple months I've started getting these issues. So I don't know exactly what kicked off, but there was something that kicked off. Yeah, man. Do what you got to do. It's all good, man. I'll still be on. I don't know how much longer, but I'll definitely most likely still be on, my man. All right. So we got that little bridge done. And all right, so river rapid rides. Let's face it. River rapids, you gotta have water features. Like this one, you're gonna get drenched. So the river rapids at what is it? I guess it's fucking SeaWorld. Like that one, you get it's hard to avoid any kind of water feature on that one, right? So, I mean, I think personally, we should really do that to people here. I find that comical. Waterfall triggerable. Yeah, I don't want to do it triggerable, honestly. But at the same time, I want to be able to avoid getting wet, so that way you can. Thank you, my man. It is actually just in the very beginning portions of it. I really didn't intend on this thing being actually like a themed kind of park, you know what I mean? I really just wanted it to be more general, but my God, it took off into a theming evolution very, very quickly on this. This is our more Mediterranean style area. It's got one big coaster. I figured with having my Viking area with two of them, it worked out better this way. Just to put the one back here. I normally like having at least one coaster per, I guess, 2 flat rides. I think that sounds pretty stable. Just thinking of the parks I've gone to, it just kind of seems like a ratio in that sense, for the most part. So that's kind of what I stuck with. And since the Viking area's got really just, it's got a couple to swing in this one, I wanted to put in a few over here. And these boats, I really just put in for nostalgia. Like that just, I was happy to see the Western scenery theme stuff. So this really went in just for the nostalgia purposes of it. But all these are essentially made to be Mediterranean fishing piers. Thinking of it that way, or trading piers. Here, let me put that one in. Boom. All right, I'll get out of that just real quick. But yeah, so that was just the thought behind these decorations and coming in here. So that's kind of why we have this one is basically a rock jetty that's jutting out from everything, and then just another little trading fishing pier thing. And so on the docks, you can see you got a whole bunch of just random shit as you work your way through the queue line in this kind of area. So this river rapids has been one of the harder things. I don't normally do a themed ride. Like, just never been my deal. Theming is always hard and confusing for me. Let's just put it out there. So I've rarely tried to. This part kind of took off in that it would be themed. So, you know, I hope it all works together and fits. But yeah. Now here, since I think they did just do the whole restaurant release thing, we're going to, I want to try to do an open air restaurant, essentially. Or a couple of them in this whole area. You know, that's kind of what we're going to do for it. To fill in that gap. But some of this stuff is going to be just foliage, and I got to finish fencing around here. Have a pathway built. There's a lot of stuff to do. This is probably what, the 4th or 5th stream I think that is coming just in this section alone. So I really do hope to kind of get this thing finished off today. That is the goal, at least. Why is that so damn large? Good Lord. Oh, because I made it that way. And it looks like it's wanting to kick it out again. No alerts. I'm not sure what that is. That seems more like a Twitch thing to me. Still says live or an excellent. Okay. Alright, so let me take this. Now I gotta edit the damn scenery group. I'm gonna take a couple of them. I don't want to do just one. Line this up. More or less lined up. Let's be honest. It's not gonna be 100% perfect, and I don't really want it to be. I want you to feel like you're gonna go careening off boulders and rocks and severely injure yourself. You know, man, I was talking to my kid. Alright, so I've got kids. They're both teenagers. And it dawned on me that my oldest son has never broken a bone in his life. And I realized why. And it's not because, oh, I've watched them closer than my parents watched me and my brother. No, it's because they don't. I think it is the electronics, not to rail on them, but kids these days just aren't willing to go out and do stupid stuff to hurt themselves. Like, where's the jackass of this generation? You know? You know how many kids went out and did stupid shit because of jackass? Like, that was part of life. Like, that was the fun time to do stuff. If you got hurt, so be it. You laughed it off, limped around for a couple weeks, and then you went to a doctor about it. Not this generation of kids, man. Not them. No, sirree, Bob. They do not like to do that. You don't really see it too much, that gap. So I'm not going to stress about that. Alright, so I got that in. Leading up to it. Here it is going to be just pretty much foliage. I'm going to have to get some of those plants and kind of shrink them down in size. But that's one of those gap filler kind of things that we'll take care of at a later time. Alright, let's edit the scenery group. Now I wonder if they have it in here. When they brought in the Western pack, there's the old wood scaffolding. Kind of like this, but that's a little too detailed for it. Nope, nothing. Alright, not a big deal. I still need to come down for beams. Let's see, where are we at here? Is that supposed to be thick? That ain't a thick damn beam. Now that's a thick ass beam. Square. I don't know. That just doesn't feel like it's what I'm looking for. And again, neither does this. And I hate that green color. I mean, it's funny that they brought it back, but I hate that green color. This actually works out better. And let's do that. It doesn't really look too different. It's gonna be different. Like, I know that, but hey, how's it going? How's your Saturday kicking off? My dog, I can hear him scratching his ear. So what are y'all gonna be up to today, fellas, ladies and gents? What are y'all gonna be up to today? I've just got this going on, and then man, those are the best days. This is my only free time for the day, really, outside of this. Once I get done with this, holy Lord, my day really kicks off. But hey, take advantage when you can, you know what I mean? Yeah, in fact, let me just get this thing down, and we'll come back to finish that. I'm very ADD in that sense. I will leave what I am doing if I get the chance. Alright, let's back it up here. So here is our park from the parking lot segment. Really should go through and put in some detail. I've thought about it. It's just one of those parking lot things. Man, those drive me wild. I just haven't done it. And same thing with these portions. Oh, great, the bit rate. Little bit rate malfunction again, it seems like. No warning on my Streamlabs. Fun times. These are the kind of technical issues you run into when you follow me. I love it. Here's a basic entrance to our park. We came in. I put in these security things, basically metal detectors, because every park has them nowadays. And these are just basic arch shapes. I actually built these by myself. I rarely ever do that. Don't know why I really chose to this time, but it works. Works out pretty well. We have the standard little ticket entrance things launching you in. Now, our actual entrance plaza is pretty damn generic. I did that on purpose. In all reality, this is supposed to be a generic theme park, man, like it was. And it wasn't too long. It was the immediate day episode after I finished the entrance and started building the first ride that, yeah, this is going to end up having a lot of theming that I'm going to try to push myself on. First ride in was our ship that we got. I basically made this like a Viking long ship, you know, with the dragon heads on the end. It's got the sail that's been pulled up, the shields on the side. I've seen enough of that show Vikings to know they rode with their boat with the shields on the side of it. And yeah, that was the first one. That really kicked it all off, man. I knew I wanted to have a water thing coming up here through at the beginning. It does kind of help separate out the park and let you start flowing into the different directions of it. As we see our wing coaster coming by and around. But it turned out to be a pretty major part of our wing coaster ride, actually. And we come into here to the first plaza area. And here's where I do struggle with Planet Coaster stuff, man. Like, this thing is huge. Like, the scaling is insane when you start to actually think about it. And that's what this plaza is. It is a massively, insanely massive plaza for this. Like, this is our first coaster that did go in. Our steel-topped one. This one is pretty much all custom, I believe. Yeah, this is an all custom kind of ride. It worked out pretty well. It took a few iterations to do. I built one of them on stream and completely destroyed it the very next live stream because it just wasn't. When a coaster sucks in Planet Coaster, you'll know because none of the people want to ride it. So that's how I knew. So we had to redesign that one. And it's a pretty basic entrance queue, just kind of covered up. Nothing too major there. Like I said, I tried to avoid heavy theming. It didn't work out very well. I did not avoid it at all. And really, after the first ride, Ragnarok went in. We had this flat ride, Valkyrie, put in. And these are all the custom signs. I just haven't done it for the new section yet. I'm going to wait till I do finish the new section before I put in the custom signage. But I like how they work with the actual rides, and these fill in some major wide open spaces. Our wing coaster, Odin's Raven, that's an homage to Anchorman, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, for that one. And this I also put this in just as a space filler. Like, that's what these things are. In an ideal world, I would probably, where is the exit to this damn thing? All the way over here? Yeah. I'd probably have a photo section there, or something along the lines, which we are finally getting at some point. I think in the summer they're supposed to do it on ride photos, which will be pretty awesome. But then this is just a seating area. It's going to be hard. I didn't really have much of an opportunity. I'm going to try to fence it off for the most part, because in reality it would have to be fenced. Don't need someone jumping off to get their hat and getting their head kicked off before. Do I have the Gulpy mascot in here? I actually don't think I have any mascots. Let me see. Staff. Where? I don't, but you know what? You got it, man. Yeah, there's Mr. Dino, dude. We're gonna plop him on down right now. Gulpy Rex. That's our man. I'm not gonna lie, this would be nice to see like at a Six Flags, but the floppy tongue is what would get me. That is what would get me right there. That little floppy tongue. That's got some uh, that issues. But back to the actual park itself. This was the Viking section. That was what we did first. I think, like I said, that took 5 episodes, like 4 or 5, I think, at that point. The water park is going to end up coming off over here. I've kind of got it mapped out in this section, which looks still massive in my mind. But we're going to have a couple other theme park sections right around here and right here. And I think next one I'm going to do is going to be kind of a Western themed area. In this open block, I'm going to build another little restaurant thing, but I think it'll probably be Western right here, and then something else right here. I don't know, but something. But that's how that's going to be. This was originally supposed to be a Mediterranean area, and when I started thinking about it, it really, Mediterranean is and tropical kind of do work together, but Mediterranean's definitely more, I guess, I don't know, in the Mediterranean. The Italy, coast of Italy and all that type of shit. It was the idea behind it, and that's why a lot of this stuff is Greek mythology themed that we have. This coaster, our T-Rex coaster, I can tell you is completely custom with the exception of this feature, which came into this one, and that. And I think this one too. Yeah, everything else about it is custom, and you can tell that by this wicked drop I put on it. $99. Well done, man. Well done on that. But you can see this is, I think it's like ends up being about 100-degree drop on this one. Goes straight into a barrel roll, and I don't know if that would kill you. I really don't. It is a wicked. Here, hold on. Let's see if we can catch this thing riding real quick. Probably waiting for Pete. There it is. I'm gonna wait till it gets to the top before we actually hop on it, but yeah, it's got a pretty wicked drop, but then it's gonna go straight into this little turn barrel roll thing. I don't know if that would kill you in real life. A part of me thinks it would. Planet Coaster 1, I played it on the PS4 for a little bit. Here we go. Over. Yeah, it's about 110 degrees. Straight into the turn. Boop. Barrel rolls you around. And that turn into that 0G roll is really weird. It was really weird to design, I will say. It came off as an accident and works out a lot better than what I thought. Yeah, I can take a look at your theme park. I normally don't do that on streams. Of course, I say that. I think I normally don't have anybody watch them either. So, yeah, you know what? We'll check it out, dude. Let me see. Boom. I had to put in trim brakes because I had to finish this thing. So the trim brake section looks goofy as shit. And you come to a pretty sudden stop, right? But it's a badass little coaster, I think. It works out pretty damn well. Ratings are all in the green. So, you know. Pine Valley. Alright. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. That we will definitely do. In time, my friends. In time, I say. Well, that's kind of where we stand right now. Other than these flat rides. Is just these portions. So this one, this River Rapids I've been working on for about, I don't know, like I said, 3 or 4 episodes at this stage. And really, thankfully, there's not much left to do. I went and did all of this foliage work off camera. I've got to repaint some of the terrain for it, but that was kind of a pain in the ass. And then this part, I'm still perplexed in what to do in this opening. this open section, because I really don't. I mean, I could just connect this pathwork to right there, and that would actually kind of help with closing off this whole thing. But I don't know. That just feels like it would look weird. Small ride. That's definitely doable. Right, let me just check out some of the flat rides. No, custom. I don't want to do that. Now that actually fits perfect. It doesn't give too much space. I think it could be generic enough. Too big. Way too big. Carousel. No, if I could actually remove the damn windmill. Like how it now snaps to the edge. Let me see something. If I were to do that, I could just bring that down here. Yeah, like I played the Planet Coaster one on the PlayStation for just a little bit. My only thing is I couldn't get used to the controls. That just really kind of bothered me to the point where, pathing work in Planet Coaster 1 was janky enough, but whenever I was trying to do it with the PlayStation controller, man, it just didn't work for me. This has got actual potential right there. I wouldn't mind that. Because you do get flashes of here, but just the fun fires and stuff like that. There's a lot of fire in that damn river rapids. Thank God it's covered in water. Yeah, this is actually doable. I'm going to have to screw around with some of the groundwork. But this one, which one is this? Iron Claw. Make sure I don't have an Iron Claw anywhere else in the park already. I don't think I do. I got that one and that swing, but no Iron Claw. So I think we're good to go there. Yeah, most of the flat rides I think should be good to go from Planet Coaster 1. For some reason, I feel like the mechanics of them was a little wonky. I don't know why. I just felt that way whenever, you see rides like this, right? So this is relatively quick, and thankfully the queue line doesn't back up. But back on Planet Coaster 1, this ride would take like a day in the Planet Coaster world to go on just one turn around. So it was pretty damned excessive at times in that realm. With trying to get that stuff in there, it really was it. But I mean, it served its purpose in the grand scheme of things, It really did. And just like it serves that purpose over there, and I think it actually works out pretty damn well. Made $211,000. All right. For some reason, I don't think the finances in this are completely accurate with how that would be done. Then again, I play it in sandbox mode. I don't like having to worry about management stuff, That's just a personal preference on my end. I do like seeing people play it to where they do have to manage it, and you see kind of that natural progression of a park as you make money, add a ride, making changes to it and all that stuff, but that's just not for me. Like, I've tried that mode. Of course, I tried it whenever I first got it, but outside of that, I just couldn't pull it off. Let's just bring this on down, and boom. Alright, man. We will be on. I actually don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. But hey, let's see y'all. Come back if you want, dude. I don't know what time you'll be back on, but hey, might not be here. I cannot give any guarantees on what my schedule holds. I really just fly by the seat of my pants and have learned that if my wife says I need to do something, it makes my life easier to do it. Adding a new coaster to your park? Yeah, so that's one thing that I will say gets me with Planet Coaster a lot is space filler. You know, the last series I did live streaming a Planet Coaster Park, I was gonna put in one of the Vekoma inverts. It just didn't fit though. Like I really wanted it to because I had this massive open area whenever I look at it. And someone had suggested it one time in the chat. It's like very few times do I get that many people watching, but one time someone actually did, so I was like, all right, we'll put that in, and it just wasn't gonna be. It just didn't fit, you know. This is not just gonna be. Ah, all right. So what kind of thrills you gonna be putting on that one? Like, are we talking speed, size, inversions? What are we going with here? What are we looking at? Because that's always the hardest part for me. Like, I'll admit, even, let me just do this real quick. Let me just show you. Like, this coaster, these coasters aren't all that tall. They have height, obviously. Like, this one may be the tallest. Let me see. Results. Yeah, so that one's 188 feet. But, I mean, it's a RMC hybrid. You got to make those big. This one is only 131 foot for the biggest drop. Ooh, putting in the triggerable events. I might go back through some of these rides and do that as it comes on. But once again, for some stuff for me, for like that gets pretty damn tedious. So that one's 130. That's a tree I just clicked on. And this one, 165. Okay, so they're fairly decent drops. But the one thing is, if they're all at about that height, right? So you see this one doesn't look any bigger. And it actually is by about 30 feet. So perception-wise, it's the same. Oh my god, I hate the camera work. And even the RMC, because it does take you to the top, and I put in the little delayed drop segment, because I like having the chain run off. I love that feeling of hanging over the edge right as you're like about to go, oh my god, I'm about to die. And then it lets you go, and poof, down you go. So like, see, watch it. So normally on a real ride, you come here and you hang at the front about there until that last about chain or two link go, and then you go launching down into the ride. And I love that portion of them. That's why you'll see most of these. And I also like having the steps. I think is pretty necessary from what I've seen from different theme park chitski happening, you know. So I do think it kind of worked out that well. All right, let me come over here. Where's it gonna be? I know it's not in the western. I checked the last time. It's not in the western theme. My little cover. Nothing for that? Hold on. I have it over here. What am I doing? There it is. And we're going to remove it. I do like these. So the old school one on Planet Coaster one was about, let me see if this will even fit. It's about yay big also in reality. And I just really liked how it did as a path cover, as a queue cover. It really worked out pretty well. But for some reason right now it's just probably, I guess I can shrink it, yeah. So let's go ahead and put it in place. Let me just put it on this corner. See what we got working. So this is about center point. See, that may be too little. And it's janking me up again. No, that is not what I wanted to click on. And it's back to an excellent signal now. I don't know what is up with this damn thing, man. Like, why's it gotta be this way? I don't know. This stuff is always janky for me now, ever since some update happened. It's been screwing with me. As I never had bitrate problems or any. How low is that above their heads? I may just have to build my own, be done with it. That's actually not bad for a cover. I actually think that works out pretty well. Alright, so let me just put that there. Slide this on over. So I do want this portion to be covered. And in reality, like I said, I'm from Texas, so my life is spent in the sun whenever we're outside doing shit. And it just really is nice whenever we go to theme parks. And actually, most of them have to have some sort of cover. That's why you see a lot of our coasters will actually wind themselves, the queues wind themselves kind of through either a lot of brush or actually through the coaster to create basically easy shading, letting it go underneath the coaster and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm going to fix those outside edges here in a minute. I just want to get this thing in. That actually works pretty good. I'm happy with that. Alright. Let me just see about nudging it out. I don't need to go all the way. Just got to do little tidbits at a time, folks. There we go. That'll actually work. Out some more. And I put this here, I put the gap in the middle because I've always wanted, I love on the river rapids when you can try to make, you think you're spinning the damn thing. Will forever be convinced I do with that little wheel in the middle, you know, yanking on it and trying to make it feel like I'm getting the people I'm riding with wet. Because normally it's me, my wife, my sons, and my daughters, and they hate it whenever that happens, and I find it hilarious. So that's what I do. Say what you will about it, but I find it absolutely hilarious. Alright, so we're going to put that in there. Yeah, we're going to come out on this side too. That going. And I'm trying to cover most of that little Viking like design work on it, mainly just because got the station going. Whew. Dude, that's impressive. I'll say that. Whenever I build coasters, I can never get them going that fast. Especially with the station and all that stuff. And I think, honestly, it's because I'm like, ooh, I should try to do this and let me see how, you know, but I don't even do triggerable events, none of that jazz. Alright, so I got that portion covered. We're going to put the railings up here in a minute. It's just going to be generic railings. The old school wooden ones that I love so much. Get that scenery theme out of here. I'm looking for bushes. I need rocks. I am going to kind of blindly just install some rocks here. Alright, align to surface off, snap to position off. Stick to surface off, that's what I needed. Damn surfaces, always screwing with me. What is... My wife's dog is over there barking by the door like she heard something. She didn't hear nothing. She's deaf. Alright, well, she's not deaf, but she practically might as well be, you know? I'm not going to mind it if a little bit of the rock seeps through, actually. I thought I would, but as I'm looking at it, I'm like, ah, that actually works out pretty decent. Let me see this. You are sunken down. And I do truly think it would actually look pretty good having some of that rock coming in. Now, I don't want it to completely take over the damn path, you know what I mean? But should correct that through right there. Alright. Make sure it didn't stick through on that side. It did not. Yeah, dude, that's one of the biggest things with, I'll say, with Planet Coaster for me is sometimes it does feel like it's so tedious that actually getting up the energy to do it is pretty, it gets daunting at times. That's why I've taken like major breaks from it, streaming and recording and stuff. I mean, yeah, I do have, so I have my YouTube channel going, I have other series happening, and at times it's like, man, I can knock out, you know, 3 or 4 episodes of the other stuff as well before I could even get one episode of this done, you know. But I think since I've kind of put myself on a schedule of doing it on Monday or Saturdays for the most part, it's actually worked out fairly well for me. Where the hell is this goddamn thing at? I don't like that. It's actually worked out pretty well with being able to actually get up and do the recording, start them, and all that fun jazz. Because, like I said, that is one of the hardest parts with this game, because it does feel like it's whew. But once you get that itch going and you start to scratch it, you're like, oh yeah. And I am someone who can appreciate a good itch scratching, you know what I mean? I don't know if everybody truly can in this world, but I definitely do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll say this. The best way I can compare it is if you've ever had poison ivy or poison oak or something like that, and you started basically kind of scratching at it before you really went and got any lotion or anything like that. Like, there's such a good feeling when you get that scratch going. I'm like, oh, I could make it bleed and that would make it feel so much better. You know, that kind of sentiment to it. And I'm like, ooh. Same thing with Planet Coaster, man. You start getting that itch going a little bit, and you're like, ooh, I think I kind of want to build something. And then you start, and all of a sudden it's 3 hours later, you've gotten one barrel roll or loop of your coaster built, and you're like, yeah, that was a day well worked, you know. That's what it's like for me, at least. Like, oh my goodness. So here I just want to kind of run this corner down into the ground some. Boom. Yeah, so that is one of those crazy things. Like this ride, I didn't think this would be that way. Then I started doing this cave section right here, and it became way too much. I was like, holy Lord. I thought I was going to get it done in one stream or even, maybe two. Nope. Not even close. Just, like I said, this is, I think, the third or fourth stream I'm on this one. So, yeah, I know that feeling all too well. Alright, so I want to put, obviously I need a railing. Like, that's kind of, that is definitely a given. And I think I might just go railing here with some foliage down in. I want to also look at putting some of this rock work in, kind of like that. And I only say that because at Six Flags Over Texas, right? That being one of the, not the closest park to me, but one of the home parks that I've been to before, and we mistakenly didn't read the fine print on a Six Flags season pass where you could, if you bought a season pass from a certain park, you can only really visit that park except for on special days. We upgraded our passes that year. They got us on that one. We got screwed pretty fully right there. But Dallas was the home park, and on their River Rapids, one thing I did always like about it is when you first kind of walk into it, it does have this kind of feel of you're kind of walking into like a rock and wood area primarily, and I think it just looks good and actually sets kind of a nice little tone for the ride. But obviously it's one of those things, people like to make stuff look natural. I don't stress about that as much, just because you see it and yeah, it looks really good, but man, I just can't bring myself to stress. Although, who am I kidding? I definitely do stress about it. So that's another thing that gets me with playing a coaster, right? Like, I'll be playing it, and people say, well, don't compare what you build to, the big time YouTubers and stuff, and the people who play it, the guys who get the early access into the park or even the updates. Try not to compare yourself to those guys, but my God, I can't help but do that. I think most people that play a game and watch someone play it on YouTube does do that. And I am definitely guilty of it for certain. But I try not to, and it's just one of those things that I see what I build and then I see what they build, and I'm like, damn it, man. Oh, a replica coaster. I've thought about doing that before. I think I did it in Planet Coaster 1 too. So the Beast at Kings Island, is that alright, so is that the park that had the Beast and then Son of Beast where they try to do the loop in like an old school wooden coaster that just didn't really work out all that well? I feel like that was it. Yeah, that is. Okay. See, I've tried to do replicas. Now I've got at least a picture, an idea of which one you're talking about. I've tried to do replicas, and dude, I don't know what it is that Okay, I do know what it is. Who am I kidding? It's the scaling. So, what is it? The Superman ride at Fiesta, Texas, right? The first drop. Let me take a look. I think. No, I don't have. I thought I built this one to go around like that, but I did not. So the first drop, it's a swooping turn, kind of like this on a floorless coaster, floorless B&M, but it cuts. Basically, if you're coming it this way, it cuts all the way around. It does a 360 all the way down into the loop, and I could just never get that right. For some reason, I feel like anytime I've tried to do a replica, I sit there and I think about it and I look at it and I'm like, oh man, this doesn't. What did I do? I didn't do the ride the justice it deserved. It just makes me too nervous, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to start putting the railing up right about, oh my god, here. So whenever you do your replica, you go for the same replica height and all that, or just a replica in the appearance of how it looks. So that basically, you know, I mean, the same kind of features and all that that the ride has. Or is it kind of it's got the same features, different sizing, stuff that works better for the park, or works better for with what Planet Coaster provides, essentially. Because that's what's always kind of gotten me about the replica business. Alright, so normally I would like to just place these things down like this. I don't mind doing that. But you can see where a slight problem might exist, right? If I do come here, I can actually hold my mouse over where I want it to be placed at. That is the key, folks. I am just going to do that right there. Why stress about trying to make it match up perfectly, shrinking all sorts of shit down? You don't even need to, you know what I mean? That's not what I wanted, but I guess it'll do. Yeah, see, look at that. It's at an odd-ass angle. I got no can do on that one. Alright, we'll try this again. Yeah, that's still not flat. I guess that's because this isn't flat. It looks like it should be. Okay, that is. Alright, now it's going to be time to run this thing through. And these little lining up stuff. So I actually am horrible at this. I hate having the angle snap off. I really do hate it. And you can see this isn't even lined up perfectly, but as my dad always said, it's close enough for government work, you know what I mean? So we're going to shoot this on through. It just seems like the best option. And match that stuff up. And yeah, there's a slight downgrade, I think, on this one. I think. I can't be 100% certain. But we shall see anyways. No, not too much of one. But it's going to get a little hairy when we get over that other section. Right there. That little upslope. It's a wonky little upslope. It's not even smooth or nothing. small station, yeah. I noticed, so my thing with stations that I do, I've never, and I guess I should look before I speak. Because, yeah, this station isn't actually that big. Like, I'm outside of making it kind of match, I don't think I've ever gone too crazy with theming in a station building before. It's just kind of, alright, so it's the same theme size. I have an idea of what I wanted it to be, and try my best. But yeah, so my stations are actually relatively small. I think the queue line is what gets me the most, more than anything. In my last Planet Coaster 1, in the last series I did that I finished up before Planet Coaster 2 started, it was really the queue lines that were the big ones for me. It wasn't so much the station. My stations have always been relatively smaller, at least on the smaller side. But that build up to it, that's what's always kind of gotten me for it. So I am going to put that there. I'm going to put a rock right up there so it does meet it, so that way it's not just floating out in space. Too bad that's not even that high up. Put a rock right in that spot. And then I'm gonna love working on this nice little upslope. And see, this is already off kilter. And boom. I guess that's it. But then again, there's also reasons why I wasn't a surgeon. And light little touches like that to make things even played a fairly big role in that. Outside of not being smart enough or wanting to go to medical school or for school for that long in general, I'm going to blame it on the fact I got twitchy fingers. And it's right there. Alright, so we're good there. Boom. Done and done. Alright, what I'm going to come over here and get first is this flat section. Figure it'd be easier to have a target to hit, right? At least it should be. Should be a little easier. 1, 2. I'll make minor adjustments. I'll move them whenever we have to. But I just want to try to line it up as best I can. Let me bring this right here. See, it's still a little off. Not by much, though. That was actually a pretty smooth little turn. All right. So this one is floating. Tilt that one up too. Nice little cheat code for how to get that to match. More natural little edge, I guess, right there. At least that's what it felt like to me. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Alright, so I've got it on that slope. Ooh, the water park stuff. Alright, so in the last one I did, I've got a series going on YouTube right now of stuff, the park I've actually finished and recorded. I just haven't got all the episodes out. And alright, so once again, I mentioned scaling before in Planet Coaster, and holy lord did I misjudge the water park section. I think my lazy river, outside of being at the widest setting, I mean, my god, it was a rough one, to say the least. And it's gonna... What's wrong with it now? The bitrate, everything is fine. Why is it doing this? Why has it gotta be this way, Twitch? Why do you gots to be this way? Alright. The bitrate didn't even drop. It didn't even shoot up. It didn't get excessive or anything. And yet, it just booted my stream. Such is my life here. I tell you that much. Learn to live with it, I guess. Alright, so we got that railed off. Railed off. Yeah, so I don't know what it is. I've tried to set my bit rate for to limit it, but even it doesn't matter what I do. Like, I use Streamlabs to stream everything, but it still sets my bit rate, sends it into wild mode essentially, and it goes insane. I don't know why it does that randomly. And it shoots it up to, like, I think I've seen it at like 8,000 for the bit rate, and it just, Twitch can't handle it. And when Twitch can't handle it, then Streamlabs is like, holy lord, what is happening? And it just does what it just did right there. Is my audio still working? A lot of times my audio kicks out after that. That has been known to happen. Okay. That's why I keep asking. Like, anytime I say, like, is my audio work, that's the only reason why. Because about a month ago, or really, yeah, about a month and a half ago, when all these issues started, it would come back on like it has been, and the signal says it's excellent. Like, my bit rate right now is at 5,900, right where I set it to. But like I said, every now and then it just shoots itself up and goes haywire for a minute. But about a month ago when that happened, the whole audio stayed cut off afterwards, and I was like, well, that's annoying as shit, but alright, I guess that's just how my life is right now. Alright, well, by the time you get done with that, I'll probably, for the most part, we should be done with this one, and then we'll check out that ride. Actually, these should be at about the same. Hold on. We're going to try to cheese the system here. Yeah. I just need to move it down. Drop it in just a little bit. I will do my best with the camera work. That is one thing I wish I could give guarantees on that, but my God, I cannot. I will do my damnedest, though. That I can promise you. Even this, like, even during these streams, man, my camera work gets a little janky at times, to say the least. Oh, I gotta put angle snap back on. That makes me so happy. Makes me so happy. Alright. What is my dog barking at again? I'm not gonna lie, I do think, and it's not a full-blown bark, so you probably can't hear it. It's just a little, like, I don't know, like a little pestering bark, but she started doing that, and it's my wife's dog. My dog, he doesn't do it too much. He just pretty much ignores the world for the most part. But my wife's dog, she does that crap all the time. Well, she hasn't started doing it until about a couple weeks ago. And ooh, you know what's crazy a couple weeks ago? Alright. I know you may not believe me, and more power to you. Me and my son, when he was 15 at the time, were just sitting there watching a hockey game. My other son, who's 13, was in his room. And I thought he was playing a game. He wasn't. He was in his room watching YouTube. And my son and I both heard a knock on our door. It went boom, 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 help me. And we both looked at each other like, hold on, did you just hear that shit? We both gave each other that look of what the fuck. And of course I went to the door. I heard someone say help me. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the door. Now, I live in Texas, so imagine someone hearing that and walking to a door. I do carry a firearm on me. I'm not sure what your thoughts on them are, but I do carry one every now and then, and I have them in my house. But we heard that. I went to answer the door. No one was at the door, so I went over to my youngest son's room, who's 13. Yep, I do have a license to carry that one, although I don't know what state you're in, but in my state, that was a part of our last legislative session, or was it 2 sessions ago? Don't have to have a license to carry one anymore, although there's fine caveats to that law. You don't have to have a license to carry it if you're openly carrying it, right? So if you are carrying the thing concealed, you got to have a license for it. Hey, yeah, I'm in Texas, so trust me, I know that feeling all too well, too. But yeah, so they did that for us. But I do have my license for it. And I've been around it my whole life. I got my safe that they're locked up in whenever they're not in use, and all that fun jazz. So I do keep a watch on them. But I heard someone say, help me. We go answer the door. Nobody's there. And I mean nobody. And so I go to my son's room, who I thought was playing on his game, because he's 13. He gets a little, rambunctious when it comes to playing. And I was like, dude, you can't be sitting there yelling while you're playing. And he goes, I didn't yell, Dad. What are you talking about? I heard you. Dad, that wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, all right, well, that's fun. Now, ever since then, we have random little things like my dog will go chasing something up in the sky, basically. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But my wife she won't want to deal with it at all, because she just does not like that. And I said, well, we'll just ignore it. Although, my wife's dog, alien ghost, I don't know. All I'm saying is, in the last month, we've had weird shit happen at our house. And not like someone we knew died. No one we knew did die, but I'm just saying, strange ass shit. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I don't believe in that or in an afterlife, but it was weird as fuck when that happened. Okay, so let's just be real about that. That was just weird as shit when it happened. Alright, so let me get some foliage put in here, and this ride, I'm going to fill this in. And I'll do some other work off camera, but shit, this is pretty much going to be done. Hallelujah, people. There's no marble plants. Dirt. Let's see, what is the scenery theme? Really, that's what you get with mythology? Okay. Oh. That's because I was looking at the wrong damn thing. Nature region. Here we go. Nature region and tropical. I like both of those, mainly because of these things. Alright, but we are going to take off align to surface and take off stick to surface. Again. Way too huge, my god. What is this? Elm tree? A small little elm? It works as a nice little bush. A little wavy though. Kind of thin. Now I don't like it so much. Let's go back to the scenery. Yeah, so I'll be watching, like she's right now. I've just checked my camera. She right now, oh, and it went offline again. That's just lovely. And see, it still says excellent signal. I don't know what this thing is doing. I really don't. the preemptive check-in. Much obliged for that one, man. But right now, she's actually running around barking at the ceiling. Yeah. Yeah, I've been checking it and watching her on the camera. Good lord, what the hell? Oh, that's a big ass fucking tree. Oh, that's a group of trees. No wonder. Okay. I was just wondering. I was like, wow, that thing went dark real quick. Alright, so no trees. Let's just take a look at bushes first. I don't like that one. What is this bush? Of course, now it won't let me click on it. God damn it. There it is. This is a nice little gap filler bush. Yeah, she's barking at the ceiling. So, not that I believe, but I sure as hell ain't tempting fate. I'll say that much. It really is. I hate that shit whenever that happens. So, unless you make the slope perfect enough, I hate how it goes into that mid-air realm. And I wish there was... I thought there used to be like a stick to a path kind of setting, or stick to the ground kind of setting. But anytime I've done that, it completely janks up the groundwork. Because you know how if you raise it up, you get that sharp like rock edge right there. Like it completely janks that up whenever that happens. And it just gets annoying as hell. Alright, so... here's that. Little space fillers. We're going to sink that down some. And I don't mind if... like as long like that right there, I've run into that on SeaWorld before in their queues. So while it's kind of a mismanaged looking section for it to have that, I don't mind it when it sticks out like that. Like it's not going to be that big of a deal to me. That's just way too tall. And I could shrink it down. Yeah, I could. It's more of a I don't want to. I guess it's also more of a I don't think I should have to. Although I do love that feature though. Could be any name. Oh my god. Alright. Oh crap. An inverted SLC. Let's go with Psychosis. And it seems cheesy as I say it, but I really do like it. Yeah. And I think for those SLCs, that can kind of work with the speed, the quickness of the inversions, the compactness of those bad boys. Damn, that works, dude. That's a big ass tree I did not intend to click on. What is that? Way too big. Way too small. So these trees are just some basic little foliage fillers, you know what I mean? Nothing too extravagant about it. Hey, everybody else that has joined, welcome to the stream here. You'll notice it may cut out at some points. Just hold tight, hold steady. It will be back. Why does my stream do that if you're asking yourself this? I don't know, but just in the last moment, talking about the potential poltergeist my wife's little pissant poodles chasing around in the living room, I'm starting to get a feeling. That's just a little one. I need some bushes in there. I'm going to go ahead and continue winding this thing around. Is that even sticking to the ground over here? Yeah, it does. It hits. Oh my god. Alright, one thing I have noticed with this, it's kind of funny. And I guess it's just the detail and with how everything has to kind of pull out. But anytime you go into like this right here, see how the movement is so much slower? Then when you get back, it's got to be the detail, right? Like that's the only thing that makes logical sense, is it would have to be the detail that the screen's trying to pick up. But yeah. And whatever it is, it's gone. My wife's dog is just now sitting down, minding her own business. Re-uploading. All right. Which actually, man, that's perfect timing because we are just about done here. Let me come in and put some of these creosote bushes in here. Alright, so there's that. And this path actually sticks to... actually sticks pretty well to the ground. I just need to put the railings up, actually. So let me do that real quick. That's in the ground. Let me hit the rocks. Hold up. Hold up. Oh shit, forgot to drink my coffee. See, now it says my bit rate's unstable and it's at over 6,000. I put the limit on my software to go over only 5,900, but it's sitting at 6,200 right now, so it's probably going to cut out at some point. Just as a heads up. I don't know why it does that. Actually, I think I know what I'm going to do when I go into work on Monday. Talk to one of our IT people that I work with. See if he can explain this to me, because I definitely do not get it. Alright, so there's that. Boom. Boom. Alright, so that rock is in there. Here, like I said, I don't mind it if the rock does peek through. It's not that big of a deal to me. I think it adds a little bit of better authenticity to the ride for the most part. Mainly because also, if you've ever seen theme parks, you know, they're with exit pass, unless it's like part of the station where you're walking down out of a building kind of situation. A lot of times you're going to get, especially on the ground, stuff poking through the concrete. and things like that. So I actually don't mind that. Of course, I'm talking about it enough times it makes me start to question myself and think that I do mind it. All right, it is up on the workshop. All right, so let me put these railings in, and this will be considered as done. Wait, this is that same damn bush? Oh, hell yeah. Boom, boom. See what I mean? Look at that space filler. Arrow bush. Arrow bush. Got a mind of a 12-year-old. Oh, block sections. I try that. I really do. And I think I've got it semi for the most part. Just, at least I got it to where I can put multiple trains on a coaster. Right? Like I've got it to that portion. Get that in. They held that. You walk up to it. They held it because the two words right next to each other, ride you. So it has it highlighted. You know how first person mode works? Like when you walk up to a ride you, right? So ride you is what they held it for sex based terms. Allow, we'll post it to the chat. Where do I go to allow it? This is the first time that's ever happened to me, man. I just never had that. Twitch, of all the things you allow on their platform, that's what's gonna get them. Like, really? Yeah. So that's all right. So my job, I do project management, and my job with building new software and stuff. AI is like everybody's in love with it, right? And I guess rightfully so to a degree. But that is one of the biggest problems with AI is it takes all of that out of there. You know what I mean? Just put this. Oh my god. Yeah, no worries, man. I'll probably still be on. 10:50. Yeah, I'll probably be on till around noon. I'm not gonna lie, since my wife is working today, I'm gonna go meet her for lunch. I'll be on around noon. But okay, so just to let you know, God, I hate shameless plug, but I do record all of these, and I will put them up on, and I put them up on my YouTube afterwards. Generally, some point in the next week, it'll be up there. So if I do hop off in between before you get back, I'm gonna put a timestamp in on the recording, and in reality, you can check it out there. If you're not back in time by the time I hop off, but it will also, and I think Twitch will also hold the recording as well. Twitch also has a recording of it, so we will look at it once I get done with it, as we get ready to get off. So it'll always be there. But yeah. And Taco Bell on a Saturday morning, dude, I'm just saying, you run the risk of spending Saturday afternoon having a rough day. Yeah, no worries, man. If it's not that long, I'll still be here. All right, we are getting this going. Just railing down. And then this is kind of a new section, but it looks to be at the same angle. I did try to make this all the same angle, actually. I don't know if the same decrease angle. I don't know if it actually worked. I guess we'll find out here. And it's not by doing that, we won't. Oh, it is actually working. Holding steady. I just need to aim it better. All right. Here we are. Yeah, that angle seems to be holding true. Except till right here. All right. I'll let you know. Boom. Yeah, that's a little low. Hold up. Yeah, I accidentally clicked down to set that one fence in. And actually, that looks pretty damn nice. Little right there. And you can tell where I went wrong in my aiming. Alright, there we go. Alright, let me take this. That should all basically be at the same angle. Actually, yeah, so with the exception of this piece, that actually works out pretty well. Oh, we'll keep that there. Boom. Alright. Let me come back. To shrink it down. I hate doing that, but I'm gonna have to. Shrink it just a little more. Let me line it up. It's only got 4, so we're about right there, I think. Alright, let me try this again. I'm going to round that off. Most of the peeps aren't even going to come around this corner in that way. And what I will do is just get that going. And one more set. Then I promise we're done. Sorry. Alright, so we got that in. That's pretty steep steps. Boom, right there. And alright, so let me see. Jesus Christ. Let me flip this over. I just want to see what this looks like. Little space filler. Yeah, that'll work. It's not the prettiest looking thing, but it's just a damn exit queue. Who's really going to care about that? And I'll say this, anytime I've gone to theme parks, I have never looked at queue lines and all that stuff as so much as a thought until I started playing this game. Alright, so we are done with the fences. Alright, are you on and ready? I know you were going to. Alright. Let me just save this. Where's my save? Oh, saving right now. But I'm doing it either way. Save. Yep, that's my lovely save file. Twitch Park. Alright. So we're going to go to Frontier Workshop. It's not doing the Frontier Workshop, so let's exit to the main menu and get to it from there. Alright. Why is it having problems connecting? Well, this is odd. Outside of me essentially letting my name out, this is not good. Having some issues. Yeah. Let's try that. I'm going to check my cameras real quick because she's barking again, and well, wouldn't you know it. There it is. She's running around staring at her ceiling again. The screen may drop off, but the stream should still be live. And I have a feeling Planet Coaster is about to crash on me because it's not even quitting. Yeah, it is about to crash if it hasn't technically already. There's a crash note. Why does it always do it whenever I'm trying to close out a game? That's the only time I ever get a crash anymore. So it used to be the brush thing, but now this happens every so often whenever I quit the game. Alright, I'm getting back into it though, folks. You know, it's funny, on the stream quality, it says unstable right now. And this time it's at 5800 bitrate. I don't know what the hell's happening, to be honest with you. First, I think maybe my computer's just unhappy. Which, not gonna lie, that's possible. This dog is running around barking at her damn ceiling, chasing whatever's there. Oh my god. Let's see. Yeah, it's still not loading. I don't know what it is. Yeah, mine gave me complete and total fits today. I don't know what is up with it. There we go. Workshop. subscribed. Cheap viewership. No, I'm good on that. Yeah, don't worry. He's normally gone. That pretty much. Okay, so outside of today, that right there is pretty much the only one I normally get on my thing. Featured creators. Let's just go with. Let me just look at this. Once we get into it, I'll search. Alright, what do we got? What was the name of it again? Pine Valley. There we go. Pine Valley Park. Not the J. Oh look, the thing dropped off, but the bit rate it says is perfect. Yeah, alright, so bit rate is excellent. Screen, it's popping the screen again. Now it's offline again. You've got to be kidding me, man. Alright, this is odd. There we go. Alright, we are back. I believe. I believe. Alright, Pine Valley Park. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you. It's been only about the last... the audio's not? There we go. It's going to be kicking off here or there. Yeah, Streamlabs isn't detecting an issue, so this is an issue within Twitch itself. At least an issue that I'm having with Twitch. How far back? There we go. It's on a major lag too. I'd have it on the delayed setting for it, but it is on a major lag. Uh-oh. Yeah. And that don't sum it up. Cherry pie. Let me just take out the word park.